Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Weslaco ISD Podcast. I'm Carlos Robledo. This is WISD Podcast number 3. We continue to tell you the interesting stories about people that make Weslaco ISD such a special place. In this episode, the big story is an interview with Gonzalez Elementary Principal Rosa Garcia, who recently gave an inspiring speech about her school. After a 5th grade graduation, she told the story about her family growing up in Mexico, the hardship they encountered. Despite those difficulties, Ms. Garcia and all her siblings graduated from college. You will hear that story and how Ms. Garcia is trying to motivate her students to reach the same goals. But first, let's go through the headlines at Weslaco ISD so you can know what is going on this summer. Congratulations goes out to the Weslaco High School Panthers 7-on-7 football team. This team, led by senior Andres Sepulveda at quarterback, went a perfect 4-0 at the Snake Pit Classic in Mission to qualify for state. This is the 7th time the team qualifies for the competition and the first time in 6 years. Did you know that Weslaco ISD is helping some individuals prepare for the U.S. citizenship test? In May, 12 people from our community graduated from the WISD citizenship class. This course is geared to review U.S. history, civics, English, and prepare them for the naturalization process. Plans are underway at Weslaco ISD for the annual Back to School Bash. This year, the event will take place at Weslaco East High School Gym. There will be giveaways, free haircuts, immunizations, and more. The Back to School Bash will take place August 17th. Off-season volleyball practice is taking place, and one of our teams is taking a different approach to strength and conditioning. The Lady Panthers volleyball team has incorporated working out at the Aquatic Center, and part of their routine is to run a little bit in the small pool. They also participate in relays and kicking exercises. The volleyball season for the Lady Panthers and the Lady Wildcats begins in August. And now we welcome our guest, Ms. Rosa Garcia, principal from Gonzalez Elementary. Ms. Garcia, it was the end of 5th grade graduation when you gave a speech to your parents. You had a captive audience there in the PAC, and you said, statistics help predict the future, and if you're going to be a statistic, be in the 1%. Can you elaborate?
Well, I think it goes back to just high school. Right. And being in the top 10% or being in the top 25, that's tough. So I heard a motivational video once, and it says if you're going to be in a statistic, be in the 1%, because it's that 1% that works really hard, that is determined to have success and achieve, and it's not easy. So if we're going to be a statistic, let's be in the 1% instead of, it's 40% of kids aren't graduating from high school, 50% this negative, statistics. So that's easy to be in the higher statistics, but it's not so easy to be in that 1%, that 5%, that 10%. So that's why I say, if you're going to be a statistic, be in the 1%, be the different, be the one that's going to achieve and know that you can achieve.
Absolutely. So. And then you talked about how well your students did at Gonzalez Elementary and how well they did on a benchmark test. So tell me a little about that. It was very, very interesting because you had the parents there, the grandparents there, the students were there. And when you talked about how well they did on this particular test, you got a round of applause.
So the round of applause comes, I think, because we have a high socioeconomic percentage. And so statistically speaking, students who are economically disadvantaged, the definition will tell you, the definition itself tells you they're going to struggle in school. They're going to need teachers who are going to motivate them and inspire them and to accomplish what they can achieve. So when I talked about benchmarks, we did see that our 5th grade group was top in the district on, the math and the reading benchmarks. And so I think to be able to see the results is different when we just tell you, now you're seeing where your kids are at, and that's why I said, your kids have defied the statistics they can achieve.
And that's a tribute to the teachers,
absolutely,
your staff there, and just getting everybody motivated to take that benchmark test.
Right.
Well, with your parents there, you had a captive audience, and I want to make sure I get this right. You tell them about your story. So let's watch the clip.
I lived in Mexico. We grew up in a house made of sod, mud and grass. Nosotros crecimos en una casa en México hecha de zoquete. El piso era tierra. That's how we grew up. We grew up in houses that were loaned to us because we didn't have a house. Vivíamos en casas de los patrones de mi papá porque no teníamos casa. But I'll tell you one thing my parents did. Les voy a decir una cosa que mis papás hacían. Nunca fallábamos a la escuela porque íbamos a ser alguien. They would never let us stay home because they were like, you're going to be something, someone. Statistics showed my family, my brothers and I shouldn't be successful. ¿Verdad? Las estadísticas enseñan, su familia no va a tener éxito. My mom says neighbors would tell her, ay, los hijos de Pancha y de Lupe no van a hacer nada. All of us have a degree. All of us have a degree. Why? Because my parents saw more in us. Mis papás veían mucho más de lo que los demás veían en nosotros, creían en nosotros. So I need for you to do that. I need for you to believe in your child. I need for you to push your child. And I need for you to see what your child has accomplished because they've done great. Every single one of these boys and girls here was born for greatness. They need to chase after that greatness. Cada niño que está aquí nació con grandeza, con talento. Hay que enseñarles qué es su talento.
It was such a motivating story. And you shared that personal story once again with the PAC full of parents and grandparents and everybody there. And then you tell them that they can do it, that these kids can do it, but they need to also push them as well. Why is that so important?
Oh, I'm going to cry. I'm getting emotional just watching that. I think I truly believe that every one of our kids can be successful. I mean, I believe that with my whole heart, my whole body, my whole being. And so when I show up to work every day, it's to ensure that our kids are successful. And so I forgot your question. Sorry.
Why is it important? Why is it important to have the parents as partners?
So there's no way we could do it without parents. Mm-hmm. There is no way. When I get to talk to parents one-on-one, I always tell them, like, we're doing our part. Right. You know, you bring your child, you send them to school, I'm going to do my part. Our teachers are going to do their part. Every single staff member is going to do their part. But we can't do it if we don't have the same goals for the children. If parents have a different goal than I have, then we just are not collaborating. And it takes all of us to be able to make sure that our kids are successful. Like, you know, our teachers show up to work every day. Like, absolutely. And when I say that, I mean it wholeheartedly. Like, they show up to make sure our kids are being successful. That's my drive. So then that becomes their drive. But if we have the current against us, if we're swimming up current, then we're not going to make it. All parents, teachers, we all need to be swimming, walking in the same direction.
And you've had some parents, you were telling me before we started this, that you've had some parents come up to you and say, you're right, I need to take a more active role. Tell me about that.
So every year my speech is a little different because I look at the group of kids we have, and so I decide what speech do they need? What speech do our parents need to hear, right? So every year I try to make it just a little different. And as I was sharing last year after the kinder graduation, it was more about, you know, if we're not sending our kids to school, then we're failing our kids. Right, exactly. We, parents ourselves. So that I did have a parent come in and she's like, you know, I just realized that I was so focused on me and my life and what's going on with me that I lost track of my parents. This year's been attendance. We've pushed it so much. So I've been sending statistics, and if your kids are absent so many days, this is what you're doing to them. So I had one of my staff members like, I didn't realize that we have all this time to do all these other things, and you know, yet we pull them out of school to take them to the doctor, to take when we have 190 some days to do that, you know, that they're off. So it's just, I think, informing parents. And like I said, every year, yes, I do have a parent who'll come into my office. They're like, you know, what you said was right. And what you just said, that opened my eyes to this. And if I can reach that one parent who has 2-3 kids, I'm good, you know. I wish I could reach all of them, obviously. Absolutely. But yes, that's just my thing. It's like, what do I tell parents? What do they need to hear with this particular group of kids? So that's what I try to do.
And this year is about getting the parents involved. So you keep doing that, keep inspiring our students here at WISD. And thank you for being here on the podcast, and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in 2023, 2024 in August. Okay?
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Garcia. And thank you for being here. I'm Carlos Robledo once again. Thanks for being here on the WISD podcast. We'll see you next time.